actually pick something fairly small.
So the CSV file only contains like a luminary schedule for the Sourcery project that you have online, right?
That's right. So
maybe
from here, this is my this is my filtered view of this portion of the project, and it's the export to current view, and then there's the Revit CSV option there.
Gotcha.
That's why I pulled. I didn't edit it or anything. I didn't make any changes to it other than the name, but it should look like a standard CSV filled out. Nothing crazy. And then after running the installer, open the appropriate year of Revit, you'll get the always load question. I say yes. And then here, I'll just clear the data, and so we'll start from scratch out of it. And I do have, so this is the sync window that pops up. I'm going to go grab that file. Yay, 8 records loaded, success. Leave it as the fixtures category. I also had a question about this I was thinking about too. What happens if, and this does happen occasionally, what happens if some fixtures on the project are lighting fixtures and some fixtures are electrical fixtures? This is not common, but a lot of the theatrical style fixtures natively load as electrical fixtures. So it's okay if you tell us we can't do that. Like, I actually think that's a fine. I think it's just something to clarify is you must have, this only works with things in one family at a time. And if we want to sync across multiple family categories, that should be, I was thinking about this too when I was looking at that.
Click the drop down there. Just for fun, just what options do we have? Right.
Nothing, because this file only has lighting fixtures. But if there's electrical fixtures, like I could open up a larger file that has some theatrical style fixtures that would load in as electrical. That's just interesting of how those two family categories would work together.
Yeah, you could try it. I mean, I guess you could sync it twice or something. Yes. But why not be able to select it twice?
Yeah. Okay. So next. All right, so these are auto mapped, which is good. The only thing I like this Sourcery auto mapping because we're using. Sorry, I should back up to Eric. We're using raw families, and we don't have IES files attached to our families. We're just using very basic light fixture families that have very few parameters attached to them. So we're sticking our type onto type mark, like I think a lot of people do, and there's no other data contained within the fixture. That's I think relevant to this. So the only thing I'm going to change on here,
we're adding these shared parameters from a set of
it's adding all of these
start pack whatever.
Yeah. So I'm going to change this type to type mark. The rest of these are going to leave default because I don't have any of these parameters already. Okay, and I'm going to map my fixture types. AP1A or 1A died, so it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, Joel showed up. You could tell we were talking about him.
DR15. LP.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
Hey, Joel.
He was just sitting there in the backyard enjoying himself, and his ears started burning.
I'm mapped across. Next. Sync.
Good news is, Joel, we're doing a recap here, but it's working well. So.
I'm happy you got it installed. So did the installer work?
That's what I started with, Joel. You missed my congratulations, which is that it both works and I have not broken it yet, which means you've achieved half the goal.
All right, that was Kyle's doing to make the installer. So
okay, so success across all these fixture categories, all these types, and this skipped makes sense too, right? So this language makes total sense because I already had a type mark value for AP1, and I'm going to apply changes, and then I will open up our schedule, which is going to look wrong because I made changes to this. Okay, this is fine. So this was the fixture schedule I had before. If I just change the fields, this will fix itself, which is I want to leave the count and type. These are the non-Sourcery parameters. Boom, boom, boom. Come on. I want to filter down to Sourcery. And then these will be in the wrong order, but I'm just going to add them all. Boop. And there's data.
Nice.
And there was no data before.
Yeah.
And if I open up an actual fixture, I bet it'll be loaded in the data lines. There it is.
Yeah.
That's how it works. In theory, right now, pre-sync. I mean, it really is that seems to be working that straightforward.
Yeah.
Now I just have to get into the fight of formatting Revit lighting fixture schedules, which is a sentence that literally makes my stomach hurt, but
No, I thought
When
so
we're
much
talking
with
about like the
schedules,
ability to
yeah.
reproduce the simple Excel spreadsheet, right? And even Revit makes it more complicated.
Revit is quite terrible at it. It's embarrassing how awful they are at it.
Yeah, it seems simple. That's
But-
great. And Joel, did I understand correctly also that when we install the plugin, you add a view as well? Didn't we add a schedule view?
There's a create schedule command now,
Yes,
and
sorry.
so
Right.
if you didn't have a schedule already, so if you run that create schedule command, Oliver,
Yep.
it'll add a new schedule
there
view.
it is.
Yep. And so it just takes whatever you last synced, the fields that you had synced in whatever the most recent sync is, it'll create a new view. And so you could press that create schedule button 40 times and end up with 40 different schedules, but they'll all be identical, right? And you can, if you don't like it, you can just delete it, right? So or you can work from this and start to get things the way you want it. So
And some
so you
people
can
may
see that-
disagree, but I
The
find
format's a little tough to manage because it's like
it is
line
the-
per
I find
data.
this most useful as another checking tool, not as a everybody's going to make their own schedule when they start to do this. I wouldn't think of this as like a final product tool, but it's
Oh, for
nice
sure,
to have
yeah.
just a back check tool, especially because you guys have it natively splitting every instance of the fixture. So it's another way for me to confirm that data came across, everything's sitting right. It also would be easier to do mass data adjustment from here. So there's some. I think it's useful as a back check tool. Just
Nice.
People are always going to be creating their own schedules for actual output.
Agreed.
for sure, yeah.